Welp, here we are once again, time to lock in for the upcoming boss battle. My regulars know what this is, but for any casuals / anyone who's new here, when my exam period comes up, I don't do any work on this brand, since I need to study / cram for my exam. So I go a while without any uploads. I do this as like a checkpoint in the game of life, as well as informing my viewers where I am. I don't do it because I think I'm some super important content creator that everyone is waiting over their computer / phone screens waiting for the next upload. So not much to say really. This is my third attempt at financial reporting in my CPA program. The first fail was due to studying an incorrect way, and this incorrect way worked for the prior subjects, but not this one. The second fail was due to running out of time after my tutor studies to summarize everything. I should be good this time round though. But I am starting my exam hiatus earlier than usual to ensure that I have enough time. Worst case, if I am prepared for the exam early, is I just redo the same questions or something. At the time of making this video, it's around mid to late Feb. My exam is mid-April. I won't upload this on this day. I'll release it later, so there's more of a constant flow of content on my channel. At the same time of writing / recording this, I have 2 other videos pending that I haven't released yet. One of them is a week in the life video, and the other is a video about what you should do before choosing a career. I'll likely have uploaded the week in the life by now, and I might have uploaded the career one, or I might upload that one later. Because it does make more sense to have the hiatus video uploaded before the actual hiatus, as opposed to saying, yeah, be right back with the content creation and then uploading another video a week later. But on the same note, uploading the career one after this one spreads out the content a bit more. I don't know what I'll do at this point, but that video is ready to go at this point in time. But before I leave, I'll mention some updates in the game of life. I've been doing these a lot lately. Normally, I prefer spreading them out so there's more time for the life progress in the game of life to accumulate, as well as the fact I don't want every single video be a video about me talking about my goals and posting my receipts from the grind. But sheesh, there is a lot of progress being made recently. Things are moving rapidly. So for career, obviously I have my CPA exam soon. Ideally, I pass. And things are moving along nicely at work in relation to my upcoming potential promotion. Nothing I haven't mentioned recently, but there's a couple of extras here. I'll talk about 5 additional points relating to the career stat that is specifically for me right now. 1. My work is getting me involved in some certain leadership training. One of the managers wants me to step into a leadership position, so they're paying a professional consultant on business leadership to train me. It's costing them about $440 per session, so they're investing heavily into me, truly feeling appreciated, which is good signs for my promotion coming up soon. But it is also an additional point on the resume for any potential future roles. Obviously, I'm not thinking about it in the sense of, oh yeah, they're adding these skills for me so I can get paid better elsewhere shortly after. I will spend years and years at this organization with the skills they're giving me now, but it's extra skills on my resume for the potential of higher roles later, as I've seen some of the higher up finance manager roles require specific leadership skills, which is what this training is providing. So this training involves taking some time during the afternoon for this training, as well as additional work involved. I do this during company time, as expected, but it takes away from other stuff I could be doing, which is fine. As long as my work is progressing towards something, it's fine. The extra work currently involves reading a book called Emotional Intelligence. Some data shows that 80% of success relates to emotional intelligence, not IQ, so I'll be slowly reading through this on company time. Not bad, hey? Getting paid to read. I know it's common in the self-improvement space to read books. I'm generally not a fan since I find listening to stuff to be a more efficient use of your time. Example, I can listen to something whilst driving, showering, cooking, at the gym, etc. But if I'm reading a book, I need to sit down and allocate a time slot to it. Additionally, A lot of books I find are a bad trade-off for time. Example, it takes like 10 total hours to get through a book, but the lessons learned can be summarized in a 10-minute YouTube video. This is especially the case with money-related books. Now, there are summaries on YouTube on this book too, but since it's a part of my training, it's more beneficial to actually read the book as well. And since I'm essentially being paid to read this, it's fine. But you wouldn't catch me reading this book instead of editing a YouTube video or studying for my CPA exams, for example. And this isn't the only thing. There'll be more stuff to do in future leadership training, but I'll worry about that when I get to it. Case in point, this leadership training is an extra bump to the career stat. 2. Safety training. Now, this is actually done. We've had a lot of training modules to complete on the work portal, and this wasn't really a huge thing. It did take a while, and it wasn't like super important to the context of my career, but it was something that needed to be done with work. So that's another box ticked. 3. OH&S meetings. I attend OH&S meetings. Generally, I don't need to do much as the accountant, but it is still a career stat increase. It eats into my free time, but it gets me brownie points with upper management, as well as learning more about how an organization runs. I hear being part of the OH&S committee is good resume credit too, so there's also that. 4. AI and cybersecurity reports. I found these reports from some email subscriptions I'm subscribed to, so I'm going over these and working out the important points. Now, this increases my career stat as I become a more tech-savvy accountant, but the info here is also good for my leadership training, as well as potentially feeding into some enhanced finance reports I am creating for the sake of my new role. At some point, I will lead the finance meetings, and these more tech-related information will prove useful. So I'm combing through these reports and jotting down the most important information. I may talk about this in a future video, but I'll talk about why AI is most likely not going to replace whatever role you're in, and these reports show that. The cybersecurity reports are also useful for finance reports, as many organizations lose a lot of money from lack of cybersecurity. I've even seen it on the accounting subreddit. Some accountants talk about how their AP staff authorized huge payments to a fake bank account. Insane! We have policies and procedures in place to ensure this doesn't happen, but there's obviously way more cybersecurity risks than just this, hence why I'm reading over this report. It's obviously not going to solve every cybersecurity issue there is, no chance, but it's a good start. So this AI and cybersecurity thing is yet another add-on to the career stat. 5. The aforementioned finance reports. I suppose this is a part of my general promotion I'm working towards, but enhancing these skills also increases my resume skills for any future roles. And it's a good way to showcase my investor stat too. Stuff like economic data usually isn't required on these specific finance reports, but maybe I can add them in to check the correlation between the broad economy and business growth. Generally, the reports focus on the numbers reported and rough forecasts based on prior years/months, as opposed to being based off economic data, which might be a more accurate method of forecasting. Who knows? Either way, this is yet another additional thing for the career stat. So these 5 add-ons are just bonus points. There's obviously my promotion in general, which takes up some work, and my CPA studies. Big things for the career stat. That resume is about to be stacked in several months' time. For money, nothing noteworthy, still stacking up that fat deposit for real estate. I'm hovering around $110,000 in cash at the present moment. I'll build up as much of a deposit as possible, since that just goes into equity in my home anyway. So I can legit just pluck that out later if I run into trouble. And additionally, I may need a larger deposit than 20%, since a 20% deposit is around $120,000, and my total house and land will cost around $600,000, meaning I need a loan of about $480,000. And currently, I may not be able to get that loan on my income. Now, if I get my promotion, I'll be fine, but maybe I still can't get the loan due to stricter lending criteria, another interest rate rise or two, or my student debt or something. But for example, if I can get a loan of $460,000, then I need a deposit of $140,000, not $120,000. So I need to save more to make this happen. I think I'll be fine. Most of my issues are solved with a $10,000 base pay raise, which is potentially the raise I'm going to get. But I'll hedge my bets either way by saving as much as possible. But I'll talk more in the investor section about it. Aesthetics, gym is potting along just fine, although coming up I'll be taking some decent time off gym due to clutch exam study. I had my 27th laser session recently. Hurts like a bitch, but it's good. The hair is growing back slower and less dense. Had a dental checkup too. Need some extra work on one tooth, but that's fine. I'll probably look into some teeth whitening stuff next appointment too. I have a Botox appointment thing during my hiatus as well, so it's all potting along nicely. Nothing super noteworthy. As for the investor stat, had a decent run of swing trades, which is the same week I used in my Week in the Life video recently. Although the week following my Week in the Life video, I had some absolute stinkers. Gee, ain't I a stinker? It happens, no one's got a 100% success rate with trading. If they tell you that, they're liars. If they were that good, they'd be the richest person on the planet, and you'd have heard of them by now. My long-term portfolio is also kinda stagnant. Oil isn't doing much despite all the flare-ups in the Middle East, but that's countered by the fact that the US is just pumping out oil, which I did not really see coming. I thought it might increase due to this being an election year, but I didn't foresee it increasing this much. DraftKings' recent earnings reports weren't anything super special. I think they did beat, but they're buying up some sort of, other company, which is not that good for their share price. Lithium is slowly picking up. Albemarle, the world's largest lithium producer, in a recent earnings report, said lithium prices are unsustainably low, which caused a bounce up in lithium stocks. So maybe that's the start of the uptrend, but who knows. Chances are it'll still be a while before lithium does anything noteworthy. Uranium also hasn't done much, and cannabis is kinda iffy. It was expected that the drug would be rescheduled to a Class 3, which opens the floodgates for marijuana stocks and marijuana in general, but there's some rumblings that if the Democrats don't do this before the election, then we may not see it, since the Republicans are likely to not do anything about it, and if the Democrats get back in, somehow, they won't need to worry about it until next election to get votes. At least Costco and MasterCard are doing alright. They're my safest bets. The others have a much higher ceiling of growth, but if you want to play it safe, not financial advice, ASIC, if you're watching this, don't can my ass, but Costco and MasterCard are probably your best bets in terms of individual stock picks, in terms of safe individual stock picks. Either way, I'm slowly trickling money into these each week. So if you're losing on your long-term portfolio, don't worry, I am too. I'm also slowly injecting a bit more into VHY as well. Now as for the land/house, hell yeah. My recent Week in the Life video mentions how I was looking at signing a contract. Well, I've signed it now. It's official. I've locked in a price. I had another meeting with a sales consultant recently too, so it's all set in motion. There's still a lot of work to do, of course, but the biggest step is always the first. So locking in these prices means I can budget around it. My next major step is to see what I can borrow from the bank, and then work out my required deposit from there. Even though, no matter what, my deposit will probably be as large as possible. The potential problems now are 1. My land doesn't title in 18 months, which if you've seen that Week in the Life video, you'll know why that's a problem. But I've seen the worksite. Barring any major flood or the construction company going bankrupt, they should be ready within 12 months, let alone 18. So chances are this is not a concern. 2. I can't get the loan required, but given the fact that I saved $88,000 in 2 years, I imagine I can save at least another $30,000 between now and when my land titles, especially since I'm on a higher salary now than I was in those prior years. and this extra $30,000 should cover me for the extra loan amount I might not be able to get. I highly doubt, based on even my current income and spending habits, that I can't get less than a $450,000 loan, which should be enough to cover me. 3. I don't get the promotion, which feeds back into the prior point, and it means I save less since I have less money, and because I'm on a lower income than what I would get if I got a raise, I can't borrow as much. At this rate, I will probably get it, but never count your chickens before they hatch. That sets you up for disappointment. Disappointment equals expectation over reality. 4. Something happens with the home builder, as in they become insolvent, meaning I have a half-finished house sitting there rotting away whilst the liquidators sort it out. But based on what I've seen, the company's financial position is strong, upwards of $100 million in cash, same with assets, and 0 bank debt. So I doubt they'll have issues. 5. I don't have the required deposit in time. Again, I doubt it. I'd have to do something stupid, like inject most of my cash into my sports betting accounts or swing trading portfolio and losing it all from there, which won't happen. As you can see from my finance updates, clearly I know where to keep my money. I know how to play it safe and conservative. So this is another potential issue, but it won't actually be an issue. It's just something you need to be aware of, like, oh, I signed the contract, now time to get lax? Nope, now's time to crack down even harder. You're so close, you need a little bit more. So just keep going.
Yes! Whew. Come on! Only a little bit fucking more! I just need a little fucking more! It's not over, but we're so close!
The other issues stem with the amounts I can get from rent. I was assuming I could get more from rent. Based on current data, it seems I can get around $550 in rent from my projected house in my area. But this is for the whole house, which would include my room, which is not up for rent, since I'll be in it. So I need to lower the potential projected rental revenue. Although rent is anticipated to get worse here in Victoria, as in go up, I believe rents recently increased by 8 to 10%, so maybe I can plan something out like $170 to $180 per room in rent, which is a big help to my mortgage, but this is a thing to worry/ponder about later on. For the brand, we're seeing some nice growth. I'm over the 4-digit sub count, which is still unbelievable to me. 3 years ago, I had 0, but I had some faith. I knew it was going to be a Herculean task, but most things in life I set my mind to, I achieved. Example, passing my degree. At one stage in 2017, I was almost going to get the boot for my degree. Getting a good body. At one stage, I thought those model-type bodies were unattainable for me. Changing basketball teams. I envisaged myself playing for that new team between 2017 and 2019, and I won 2 more championships with them. I got my personal trainer job at Good Life, a club I had my heart set on from early in my PT studies. I envisaged being a part of the CPA program, which I am now in. I envisaged being able to understand the stock market, to an extent, and make swing trades, which I can now. I envisaged getting a land/a house, which I am now closer than ever to achieving.
We are closer than ever before. Quickly, into the vortex!
I envisage working 2 stable jobs making more than 6 figures, which I am now doing. And 3 years ago, I envisaged myself having a YouTube channel that actually has subscribers, which is now a thing. So I did in a way see this coming, simply due to the fact that I achieved so much else that I set my mind to. I was like, why would this be any different? But it is still surreal, and it did involve support from the audience, thanks guys. But this mentality is somewhat dangerous as you start to take it for granted, which I do not for 1 second. But regardless, I have a channel with more than 1,000 subscribers. Absolutely insane. Now, I am not monetized, although the 1,000 sub mark is a criteria to hit to have monetized ads. You still need the watch time, which I do not have. I am quite a way off this. I reckon once I hit around 1,600 subscribers, I'll achieve this. since that's an extra 600 potential eyeballs per video, which should pump up the watch time to 4,000 hours in the prior 365 days, as well as any other non-subscribed viewers. So let's see if I am ad monetized from ads by 1,600 subs. You can get monetized at 500 subs and 3,000 hours of watch time in the past year, but this is only for super chats and merchandise for your business. I don't have any merchandise since the trade-off for the time/effort/input costs isn't worth it for a small brand like mine, let alone the fact that my priorities lie with the career and investor stat at the moment, my promotion, CPA studies and house, and super chats are from the goodness of the heart of your audience, which is something you can't consistently budget for. So once I hit 3,000 hours watch time, I will apply for a YouTube partnership program, which would be insane in its own right. Like imagine, me, CPA student, homeowner, six-figure club, gym rat, stock trader, and YouTube partner. Now, I'd make $0 from the partnership at the 3,000 hour watch time mark, since I have no merchandise and I'm not banking on receiving super chats, but I'd still be a YouTube partner nonetheless. A pretty sick milestone, considering this brand obviously doesn't get a whole heap of attention from me in the grand scheme of my life. So yeah, I'm at 1,000 subs, but I still make $0 from this, and if you see any ads before my videos, 0% of that is going to me right now. So that's an update on my grind. I'm still potting away at all my stats. I'm going to my appointments for laser, dental, Botox, to keep my general aesthetics in check, as well as still going to the gym, and still working at my weekend supermarket job to slowly build up that deposit for my house, and still sussing the stock market for good tidbits, stuff like that. But there's major leaps and bounds in terms of the career and investor stat. Those are my focus for now. As you could imagine, a promotion at work and securing a house, especially in this economic climate, should be your main focus if you have that opportunity. Like, it makes no sense for me to ramp up gym, aka gym 6 days a week instead of 4, whilst I'm in the midst of my promotion and 5 other tasks relating to my career and my CPA program. Or do something like drop to casual at my supermarket job to grind out my YouTube channel, despite being so close to having the deposit required for Australian real estate. You could argue, well, you're close to that YouTube partnership program, so ramp that up. Well, yes, I do agree, but I'm more likely to hit that 3,000 hour watch time goal at my current pace, as opposed to having enough of a deposit required for the home if I drop the second job, or passing my CPA program on minimal study. It's tricky. The diversified grind. Some stats need more focus than others at certain times. And right now, I have to potentially miss the YouTube partnership program to focus on my other stats. The reason I may miss it is because a lot of my views came from the Adonis School slander videos, and those views will expire for the sake of watch time criteria around August/September. So yes, there's still a lot of time, but my watch time from March/April/May last year, etc. expires soon too. So ideally, I pump out heaps of content between now and then to at least just hit that YouTube partnership program and worry about monetized ads later. But as I've harped on about, I have more important matters in my life. If you want to help a brother out, maybe rewatch some other videos, or just have a playlist of my videos and have them running overnight, providing you have plenty enough data for it. Or share some content with someone who you think needs it. Or not. It's not your obligation to grow my brand, and you're probably busy with your own tasks too. So that'll do it for this one. This might be the last vid for a month and a bit. Maybe there's a career video coming up after this, unsure at this stage. Either way, I'll be done with this exam around mid-April. I'll have some stuff to do after that, such as another laser appointment the night after my exam, and then obviously I'll be back to work too, even though I only take 2 days off work, it's not really that much. I'll have a dental appointment 4 days after that. I'll be back at gym, potentially wrapping up any promotion stuff, and I am 100% seeing Godzilla and Kong: A New Empire. I am so keen for that, holy shit. So the point is, I don't know when the next upload will be, but I'll upload ASAP once the exam is done. I got plenty of ideas in mind, Not sure what I'll go with first thing back, but I'll worry about that after I've slayed the dragon, aka my exam. Thanks for watching, catch you in a little over a month.